So it's been a while that I really posted anything, and the reason for that is things have been dying. It's been cold, it's been dry, and you sometimes forget that the seasons do this, and the seasons go cold and the seasons go dry. And so let me show you some insects quickly. So this is all our dubia cockroaches. Now these ones we farm as a substitute, to substitute our permaculture income. This is mealworms. The reason why I'm here is because I sold a couple of these. I have to take them quickly to one of our clients. They are driving from Windhoek and they are using them to count birds in Namibia. They came from overseas, so this is quite a nice way to meet people from overseas. And we see a mealworm starts as an egg, ends up like a worm, as a worm like that. From there on it turns into a little alien. Let me see if I can see the little alien somewhere. I'd like to show you this. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to find a little alien for you today. But then from the alien phase they turn into a little beetle like that. And you get bigger ones. This is, you see, these ones are almost as big as your thumb. They are called superworms, and they get used, all of these mealworms get used to feed exotic things, and I sell them to a lot of the conservation people. They feed them to small hedgehogs and porcupines and meerkat, things that they rescued and that they want to keep alive. So the pigs have got water there, but they like the hose pipe that I'm filling up the little mud hole for them now. Now often when things go cold and things go dead, you try to fix the cold and you try to fix the drought and you try to fix the things, but you have to remember, try and focus on the things that you do have an effect on. So you can sort of mitigate the cold and you can mitigate the drought, but there's not a lot of things that you can do about it. You can water things when they dry, and you can try to keep them warm when they're cold, but the chances are that they are going to change according to the seasons is almost 100%. And so now I've been focusing on sorry, the sun is quite bad, focusing on trying to keep other things alive. Show you, this is my worm pile. We've been working a lot of the compost, the old compost, into the gardens, started to make new ones. And so let me see if I can show you some of our little baby worms. Simon calls them my snakes. Snakes of Sir. You see there? Red wigglers. Now there's millions of them in here. Now I want to show you my papaya patch, but I don't want you to start crying with me, because that's what I felt like for quite a while. We did so many things to try and protect it from the cold, and it just went frozen and they really took a shot. So this is the papaya patch. This is one of the reasons why you almost don't feel like taking out the camera, because you've spent so many hours protecting these things, and I felt for a while, it felt like nothing made it. But then, see, the entire plan has worked. That little guy is alive. We had plastic over these things, over the big trees, and they basically went cold. But you see there, sign of new life. So it's basically dead all the way to here. and then at the bottom they are coming out. And between all of them we planted things like beetroot. I was very arrogant when I said these 40 trees will take 3 months and we can plant spinach like that, and we can plant all of these onions and things like that, and we'll have 3 months before everything is shaded out. It wasn't a week later until the cold really struck and we lost so many trees. These trees, most of them luckily, are seeming like they are coming alive again. So our papayas, we will have 40 trees, but we'll have a lot more than 3 months to get all of them, all of these vegetables between them grown. Cover crop, you can almost say. So there's carrots, there's spinach, there is more carrots. The big thing here is mango, these grasses. Mango is quite a staple, big staple food, but we just planted them for a cover crop, not really to harvest. It's too little. The other thing that you can do while it is cold is you can trim the prickly pears. Now I did trim these two about 2 weeks ago. This is what they are supposed to look like. You leave them out to dry before you go put them on their final position. Now here, let me show you this quickly. Between in Namibia we have a little insect that grows on the plants, on the porcupine. So in theory you don't want them to be touching one another like that. So in theory you should cut this one off here, so that leaf and that one doesn't touch one another. I'll get to the name of that little bug now, but they grow where the leaves touch one another. That's where they breed best, and so you want to harvest or cut those ones open. You leave that leaf there now for 2 weeks, and then you can come and plant it again somewhere else. Now these prickly pears are all less than a year old, and they will, I'm sure, be a big benefit for us in the long run. We'll turn, I think we have 30 now, we'll turn them into 60 this year, and then into 120, and then before long you have loads and loads of them. You can see, so here you would take that one there. Well, this is actually okay, so the name of the insect is cochineal. I remember now, cochineal. So you don't want them to, the leaves to touch one another. So you cut that off and you keep that. We'll see, maybe take that one off as well. So we'll make babies with those ones. So the other thing that we've been doing while it is cold is start a nursery for Lucina and see whether they grow in the winter. This Lucina, my love for Lucina, I think will grow for many years. You see, here's the babies coming out. Now this is only about half of what we have. We have another patch of about another 100 or so, and see, one Lucina tree, when it's big, can feed 20 sheep for 1 day. So we need about 360, and we can feed our herd throughout the year, and we can put them in a very small area. So you see there's some veg growing between them, but if we can keep them alive, I don't know if you ever saw my videos on the Lucina, but you can cut a whole truckload full of leaves from one tree once a year. Just quickly want to turn the drippers on as well, our dripping system. Now this is probably going to be my next big change, because the birds have been reaping our little plants out of here. You can see them coming up again. Some cauliflower there, some carrots, and all growing between the maize stalks. There's some carrots, some greenery, some lettuce, carrots there in the back. All of this is now winter crops, things that doesn't mind growing in the winter. And I think this year or soon, if I can put shade over this, mostly to keep the birds and the insects out, that would be fantastic. So this is going to be my next couple of weeks. This is what I'm going to do, put some sort of shade net, or as much as we can afford, over here. We've had many people helping us and supporting us. That makes it wonderful. See, this is now, that's lucky, there's an earthworm. So the ground is definitely becoming more and more fertile. See, there's some more earthworms. And this was all just a dead patch. Still not looking great, but it's definitely getting better month after month as we put more compost and more organic material and so on over it. Now most of my viewers are now currently experiencing summer and growth and so on, but as we are now experiencing decline in our growing and sort of pests and droughts and things like that, I was hoping to give you a reminder. Sorry, my hand is falling over my phone. But anyway, to give you a reminder that seasons change and things seems rough. There was a time when my parents used to farm horses, and so we farmed with 140 horses, and we had this African horse sickness outbreak coming and wiping. I think we lost 25% of our horses. Now my parents used to both work during the day, and then at night when they come home they would put the supplements, the horse supplements, on the back of the pickup, and they would go and sit in the veld and feed the horses vitamins and salts and so on. It was much more like farming cattle than it is you know, like farming horses, because they were grazing outside, living outside in the veld. And then this African horse sickness comes. Now African horse sickness, you get two different kinds. You get the one with where the water comes around the face, these bubbles, and around the heart, and then they slowly die. And then you get one where they call that duck kop, or thick head horse sickness, or dun kop, which means the head is thin. You don't see the signs until it's too late. So as soon as you realize the horse is sick, they basically die. And so that year, every night when they go, there was another one that was dead. And so at later on, my mother didn't want to go to the horses anymore because she was crying constantly, and it was a whole traumatic thing every night. Instead of spending quality time with my father, she would just go and see which horse they've lost. And they knew all of them by name, and they knew the families, and they knew the father and the mother, and it was all, you know, it's farming horses. Even though it was like farming cattle, you know, having them outside and so on, it's still a much closer thing to you than farming something for meat, because you farm something for families. You don't farm something, you farm something to become something for a child. You know, we farmed horses for children, show jumping horses for children. Although this was a very rough breed and they loved living outside, it was more like a pet than it was like a cattle. But anyway, she ended up going still to the horses every night and doctor who she could doctor and save who she could save, and cry when she had to cry. And so I think about that when things get tough, and think that you know, the seasons will change, and the time for foaling and the time for babies and so on will come back again. Growth will come back again. So if you're going through a rough patch in your garden, just remember, focus on the things that you can change, the things that you can affect, not all the things that you worry about. Seasons will change, the rain will come back, growth will come back, and with that, I hope you have a wonderful day.